tonight. The province has released their first phase of a new BC critical mineral strategy aimed at protecting the mining sector. Plus, there's a new boxing gym coming to Prince George, offering fans of combat sports a more traditional medium. And the Prince George Symphony Orchestra's annual fundraiser took place on Saturday night, and it was a big success, according to organizers. Good evening, I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. We begin tonight with a familiar story, more violence in downtown Prince George. Earlier today, local RCMP responded to reports of a man with a gunshot wound on the 500 block of 4th Avenue. Police officers immediately attended the area and determined the shooting had taken place inside the homeless encampment, Moccasin Flats. In a statement, Corporal Jennifer Cooper said that, quote, police are aware that the levels of violence in and around the encampment have increased in recent weeks, and they're taking steps to address this issue. There's an increased police presence in the area, including proactive patrols through the encampment to help ensure the safety of those who live and work nearby, end quote. The victim was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Emergency services were also busy this weekend, as on Sunday at around 6 a.m., Prince George fire crews from 3 different halls responded to a home on the 2500 block of Oak Street. Upon arrival, the first fire crew found heavy smoke and fire coming from the residence's windows. They quickly extinguished the fire, but the estimated damage to the house was around $60,000. Fortunately, there were no injuries to the public or fire personnel, but the incident is still under investigation by the police. And we have some breaking news to report as the West Fraser Timber Company announced just minutes ago that it will permanently close its sawmill in Fraser Lake, BC, following an orderly wind down. The decision is a result of the mill's inability to access economically viable fiber. The closure of this mill will impact approximately 175 employees, though West Fraser expects to mitigate the impacts on affected workers by providing work opportunities at other West Fraser operations. In a statement, President and CEO said, quote, "We do not make these decisions lightly. We know this announcement has a significant impact on our employees, their families, our suppliers, and the local community who all rely on a healthy forest industry." We'll have more on this developing story tomorrow. On the heels of last week's very eventful Natural Resources Forum here in town, a big announcement came down today in an important component of the sector, critical minerals. Those were two key words that were passed around a lot at the forum last week, and today the BC government unveiled the first phase of a new strategy about critical minerals. Adam Burrows reports.
The topic of critical minerals was mentioned frequently at the 2024 Natural Resources Forum, and a critical minerals strategy for BC was being discussed, but there was very little being said about it, only that it was a work in progress.
Minister Osborne is working on a critical minerals strategy to support bringing these mine proposals to full development to benefit all British Columbians.
However, on Monday, British Columbians now have an idea of what the first phase of BC's critical minerals strategy will be, as the first phase was announced by the Premier, with expediting critical minerals projects a key part of the strategy.
The permitting applications processes took way too long for us to be able to get the work done that we need to get done. We've gone from 250 days to 148 days. On the overall regional permitting backlog for mines, we've seen a 52% reduction thanks to new processes.
Critical minerals such as copper and nickel are essential components in products like electrical transmission lines and will be important to BC's energy transition.
Critical minerals are essential to the global energy transition that we're a part of right now. We need these minerals out of the ground so that they can build the wind turbines and the EV batteries and the solar panels that everybody's depending on for that transition.
With this announcement, the Premier wants to make it known that BC is open for business.
Once you make your investments in British Columbia, then your investments are safe and that mine will continue to operate.
However, the Mining Association of BC released a statement saying that they support Phase 1, but that it is missing a foundational element, competitive fiscal policy, through paying a carbon tax that is competitive with Ontario and Quebec, BC's two biggest competitors.
Understanding that our tax policy environment and other policies are really critical to that success. That's why we're going to continue to collaborate with the Mining Association of BC, directly with companies and with communities and First Nations to make these decisions.
Future actions to expand the critical minerals strategy are expected to be delivered in the coming months. Adam Burrows, CKPG News.
Prince George had a strong boxing presence in the Canadian boxing world several years ago, and now some top-ranked local fighters are looking to reignite that flame, passing on their skills by reopening the inner-city boxing gym and teaching the next generation of fighters. Dave Branco has more.
It's so important to have mentors and coaches who can guide you and push you to your best, especially in a sport as physically and mentally demanding as boxing. Who else better to guide you than Kenny Lally and Jag Seher, Prince George residents who have boxed in rings around the world.
You know, through our careers, we got to travel the world, the country, meet the most amazing people, have incredible experiences in and out of the ring. So, you know, if we're able to do that for the next generation, it's all worth it.
Lally made history at the 2010 Continental Championships in Ecuador, where he became just the third Canadian boxer to defeat a Cuban competitor and win a silver medal.
You know, I had a very good coaching team behind me as well. And at that time, there's a lot of support in the BC Association. Okay, stop. There you go. Breathe. Now.
Both boxers entered the ring in their teens and recently opened a boxing gym at the Roller Dome.
So we're offering two types of classes. One's a boxer fit class, which is really just focusing on like the conditioning and the strength and developing that type of thing. And then we have another class that's offering boxing 101. That's just focusing more on the technical part of the boxing.
Once they have their feet beneath them, they hope to come out swinging with a boxing team for Prince George.
We always had a big team, at least 15, 20 fighters sometimes, right? 2 vans loaded. So that's the vision that we have, and that's what we want to portray.
On the foundation of the original inner city boxing gym, the reopening is scheduled for February 5th upstairs at the Roller Dome. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
Robbie Burns Night, the Prince George Symphony Orchestra's annual fundraiser, took place on Saturday, and to say it was a success would be an understatement. Tommy Osborne visited the celebration of Scottish culture and tells us more.
Without a doubt Scotland's greatest poet, Robbie Burns wrote many famous poems, with the most well-known being Auld Lang Syne, the song commonly sung during New Year's. With his birthday coming up on January 25th, the Prince George Symphony Orchestra put on its annual fundraiser, Robbie Burns Night, on Saturday. 89-year-old Bob Cochran was there for the address to the Haggis, something he's done for more than 50 years now.
And cut up wherever you slight, and send your gussin' into those bright like only digs. They know what a glorious sight. Warm reeking.
He still remembers how it all started for him in Prince George.
I was in the military, and we started off in the Legion, just over the way here, and that started from there, and it was done mostly under the auspices of the Legion.
Even though he's just a month away from turning 90, he's still energetic as ever. But what keeps him going? He says Robbie Burns Night is a highlight of his year, and celebrating his culture in our community means a lot to him, and he spoke about what it means to be Scottish.
I think so. So they won't forget us, because we're a very small country, you know, and they're noisy. we're quite forthright in our speech, but yeah, we're proud. There's no truth that we don't hate the English, by the way. We just we don't bother with them too much.
As for the PGSO, the chance to host such a special event is not only a great way to fundraise, but an awesome way to get the community together.
It's not just symphony supporters who are here, right? It's people who are Scottish themselves, it's people who just like a good party, and it's people who are traditional supporters of the symphony.
The energy in this room is unreal, and it makes it clear this is more than just a fundraiser, it is a celebration. With so many community members here to celebrate Robbie Burns and Scottish culture, this remains one of the PGSO's biggest fundraisers, but more importantly, one of Prince George's best cultural celebrations. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
As of this morning, the lowest gas price in Prince George was sitting at $1.42.9 a liter at Costco. The lowest price in the province as of this morning was in Williams Lake at $1.38.9 per liter. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.14.3 per liter. BC, meanwhile, has an average price of $1.57.3 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
It was quite a good weekend to be a sports fan here in Prince George. Lots of action going on around the city. The Prince George Cougars had two big games against a conference rival that were very important for the standings in the WHL. And then up the hill, both UNBC basketball teams took on a rival of their own, the UBC Thunderbirds, on back-to-back days on Friday night and Saturday. If you missed out on any of the Prince George sports, though, this weekend, we have you covered with our weekend recap. Let's have a look.
The Cougars had a big 2 days hosting the Portland Winterhawks. The Cats managed to split the weekend. On Friday, Prince George staged a comeback. The first period would have Portland in the penalty box 4 times, giving PG 4 chances on the power play, but they couldn't capitalize. The scoring action primarily took place in the third, seeing 4 out of the 5 total goals happening. Portland made it 2-1 after scoring 2 goals on the power play, but that was followed up by Riley Height playing hero. Height scored 2 goals as well to win the game, both of which were assisted by Captain Hudson Thornton. Cougars win 3-2. Saturday night saw a jam-packed CN Center with over 6,000 in attendance for Indigenous Night as they showed off their Indigenous jerseys. The Winterhawks were quick to the punch, scoring less than 3 minutes into the first, but that would be all the scoring action that happened in the opening 20. The second period saw a strong push from the Cougars, out-shooting Portland 12-5. The persistence paid off when Andre Becker capitalized on the Winterhawks' turnover. The Cats saw the penalty box 7 times on Saturday, which gave Portland the chance to capitalize. After a delay of game call on PG, Portland put the final dagger in, making it a 2-1 victory for the visitors. The BCHL had a different type of action this past weekend with their All-Star Games in Penticton. Friday night was the Top Prospects game at the South Okanagan Event Center, followed by Saturday's skills competition, alumni and friends game, and finally the BCHL All-Star Tournament on their outdoor rink. Finally, let's get to some college basketball. The Timberwolves men's basketball team split the weekend with UBC. UNBC outscored the Thunderbirds 28-9 in the fourth quarter, solidifying the 88-69 win. UBC came back hard on Saturday. UNBC played a heavy defensive opening 10, holding UBC to 6 out of 17 shots, but that wasn't a match for the following 30 minutes. The Timberwolves fell 85-73. On the women's side, they played a rare Friday afternoon game. 1,400 fans joined them, and most of which were students from School District 57. UBC brought their A game and secured their 9th straight win, beating UNBC 67-46. The following night held a similar fate, falling to an 81-65 victory for the T-Birds. The Timberwolves' Svetlana Boykova gave a double-double effort with 14 points and an outstanding 15 rebounds. Both UNBC men's and women's teams are headed to Thompson Rivers to face the Wolfpack.
And if you think that was all the sports going on this weekend, no sirree, Bob. We've got plenty more to get to, including a little bit of high school basketball action. Despite a 2-1 record during its own tournament, the DP Todd Trojans senior boys basketball team failed to earn a medal during the Trojans Classic. While the team did play well, finishing strong with a 30-point victory in the final game to rank 5th in the tournament. Due to point differentials earlier on in the tourney, the Trojans never had a chance to compete for a medal at home. Too bad. However, the team says it was still a great weekend and the players have a lot to be proud of. In fact, in the final game, the Trojans put up a whopping 74 points. That's a season high. So they have a lot of positives to take away as they prepare for an even bigger tournament coming up shortly.
The boys played hard. They played great defense the whole time, and it was very proud of coaches to see that. Especially when we played in the Chaco Valley, which they're in our zone for AA, and that's the team we need to beat if we want to go to provincials. So it proved to the boys that they're capable of beating that team.
And over the weekend, close to 100 top Nordic athletes participated in the Odlum Brown Biathlon BC Cup number 2. The two-day competition had athletes from all over the province skiing and shooting at the Otway Nordic Ski Centre. Biathlon is quite a demanding and exciting winter sport that requires a unique blend of skiing skill as well as marksmanship. The competition wrapped up Sunday with some local athletes winning top positions. The TSX is up 18 points to close at 20,924. The Dow Jones is up 138 points to close at 38,002. And CN Rail went down $1.24 to close at $168.20.
Good evening again, everyone. We're looking at clouds and a slight chance of flurries tonight. A little bit of wind out there as well. So similar to what we saw today, and the Futurecast shows us what's expected in terms of moisture. So you can see the blue is indicating the snow. It'll be mostly flurries. It's kind of scattered in and around our region, but a good chance that we'll see some of it more so tomorrow than any other day this week. So about a 60 or 70% chance that we will have flurries in our forecast for most of the day tomorrow. Wind chill is still a bit of a factor for tonight, as I mentioned earlier in the show, down to about -12 is where we'll take that temperature. And then later into the week, yes, Wednesday a little unstable, but later into the week is when we start to see a transition and much milder temperatures coming our way, and good chance that we could even see some bright blue sky. +1 for our day tomorrow. That's not too bad, but of course it'll feel a little bit cooler and quite snowy out there here and there. -12 Fort St. John. Up in the Peace, it's still very, very cold. 6 degrees in Kamloops, so much milder through the southern half of the province. 10 in Victoria, the island seeing nothing but rain now, and the same down through Vancouver and much of the lower mainland. It is no more snow for them, but more so the rain as temperatures start to get milder and milder. 3 degrees in Quesnel, a chance of flurries through most of the day. Chilly through Vanderhoof tomorrow, up through Fort St. James. It's a bit colder, still below freezing for the daytime high. Here's a snapshot of the country, and it is quite nice and bright in many areas. -6 in Edmonton, and very pleasant there as well. And as we look through the prairies, hovering around -4 for many areas. Lots of sunshine though. So again, not terribly cold, but when you have the sunshine, it makes it feel so much better, of course. Chance of flurries for us, pretty much the early half of the week. And I kind of summed that up moments ago, but really maybe Thursday could be a day where we don't see as much of a chance moving forward, but we'll show you on the extended what we're anticipating. So it does not really dry out for Burns Lake until the weekend, and that's a little far out to look at right now, but definitely chances of precipitation for the next several days for you, and morning snow expected tomorrow. But temperatures are becoming a lot milder, as you can see. Low-lying clouds in Mackenzie, -6 overnight tonight. You are going to get up to about +1 tomorrow, even milder on Wednesday, but a bit of afternoon snow, and it's about a 60% chance for Tuesday, and kind of similar chance on Wednesday. Thursday doesn't look too bad, and then things really do become a lot milder by late into the week and into the weekend. So again, we could see more so showers than anything else. In McBride, -3 overnight tonight. It is going to be cloudy, flurries expected, morning flurries tomorrow, and then a dry pattern after that. And look at the freezing level, up to about 4 degrees. So we're starting to see that improvement, a little bit more of that milder air coming into our region. In Quesnel, -3 tonight, expecting to see actually quite a little bit in terms of precipitation or accumulation rather when it comes to snow. And then it backs off a little bit for the day tomorrow, but still a chance of flurries. It'll be later in the week. You get that nice sunny sky back, and the same for us. So temperatures are looking pretty good going forward. It'll be a colder one tonight, down to -6 or -7. Wind chill around -12 is what it'll feel like. A couple of centimeters are possible today and tomorrow, with some flurries falling. Wednesday, a very slight chance, and into the later half of the week, we are in good shape. Not too much in the way of precipitation and milder temperatures.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
The BC Hockey League, or BCHL for short, says more competition is coming to the league next year, as they announced that it has come to terms with 5 Alberta-based teams that are set to join the league for the 2024-2025 season. The teams that decided to commit are the Black Flats Bulldogs, the Brooks Bandits, the Okotoks Oilers, Sherwood Park Crusaders, as well as the Spruce Grove Saints. CKPG News did reach out to the BCHL for a statement about this major change, but we did not hear back in time for air. And let's go over to the gridiron for a second here. The Prince George Kodiak's defensive back Aiden Simpson is making his way to the St. Mary's Huskies football program in Halifax. And Kodiak's personnel are certainly excited to see a player make it to the next level from their program. Have a listen.
That was kind of the whole goal when the Prince George Kodiaks were announced, was give these players, not just here locally, but also those, across the country, an avenue to really extend their playing careers and find those avenues so then they could get to that next level. Big congratulations to Aiden Simpson, obviously. He was previously at Queen's University before coming to the Kodiaks. He was a huge leader for us over the last 2 seasons and really helped lay the foundation for the Kodiaks. And what he did both on and off the field got noticed, obviously, with the commitment to St. Mary's. So definitely wish him all the best of luck in that next chapter. And, he's just one of many who have had that avenue. Noah Lank also going to Saskatchewan after spending 1 year with the Kodiaks. So definitely just kind of helps solidify that message of, come here and, opportunities will present themselves. And, it's just kind of proof is in the pudding, so to speak, for young football players here in Prince George as well to recognize what the possibilities are.
And if you caught a Kodiaks game this past season, boy, was Simpson a ball hawk. He was pretty fun to watch on the back end of that defense. We wish him all the best moving forward in his career. And football, and more football, as we've got the very best from around the NFL divisional playoff round this past weekend, including a shocking ending that left one tortured fan base having some deja vu.
Tonight, CKP3 starts in the Motor City, where the Detroit Lions are heading to the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1991.
Intercepted by the Lions! Derek Barnes! Derek Barnes! Derek Barnes! Oh, baby, 1:33 to go!
Baker Not So Dangerous Mayfield ends the Bucs season on an interception. The party continues in Motown as the Lions will get on a plane and head to San Francisco to try and book their ticket to the Super Bowl. We stay in the NFL for the rest of CKP3.
Wide open left side caught! Kelsey caught around! Touchdown! Kansas City! Kelsey hasn't been that open since training camp in St. Joseph.
Travis Kelce and his entourage showed up in Buffalo, and it actually wasn't Taylor Swift, but his brother Jason who stole the show. That is until Tyler Bass took the stage.
In the building. If he has to make one for us, the game on the line, he will. 44 yards, Bass.
No, he doesn't make it.
Wide right. Wow. The 2 most dreaded words in Buffalo have surfaced again.
The Bills season ends on the right foot of Bass, who went wide right. A phrase Bills fans are all too familiar with, dating back to Super Bowl 25 when Scott Norwood suffered the same fate. And this takes top spot in tonight's CKP3.
Oh, hello from the CKPG Today side. Got my dancing shoes on. You could call me Happy Feet today for a good reason. I'm not wearing a kilt right now, but on the show, I'm wearing a kilt. Do a little Highland dance for you, because what makes better entertainment than me completely embarrassing myself doing something fun, right? That's what makes great television. I know, it's okay. I'm okay embarrassing myself. But definitely Highland Dance coming up on the show today. Plus, we're officially 1 month out from the BC Winter Games in Quesnel, Lataco. Going to be exciting stuff there. How about you over there? Have you ever worn a kilt? I want to know. I think the people of Prince George want to know, too.
No, Caden Fanshaw, I can safely say I have never worn a kilt, so mystery solved on that one. But you know what? Tonight we're going to shift to a little bit more of a somber note. There was a tragic passing over the weekend. Well-known local resident and photographer Chuck Chin passed away. Chuck was one of 3 recipients of the PG Community Foundation's Citizen of the Year Award. That was back in 2019. He was perhaps best known for his photography skills, as he was present taking shots at countless community events as well as sporting events. Our heart goes out to his family and friends. And that wraps up our show tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining us as always. And tonight, in honor of the late Chuck Chin, we leave you with some of his very best photos from around the community. Have yourselves a great night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.